Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Timswain. Listen, I'm sitting down with Mr. Adrian. He's a content creator. He's a consultant. And today we're diving into some real issues that sometimes we don't talk about, but we need to talk about. Adrian.
Yeah, Tim.
Listen, man, off camera we had some crazy stuff happening.
Oh man.
But it's all good because if everything went perfect, there wouldn't be a story to tell about what's happening behind the scenes. Nevertheless, thanks so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me today.
Thank you, Tim. I'm really big fan of your show, so thanks for bringing me on.
Well, listen, man, I've seen some of your content as well, man. I've seen the conversations. You're talking about everything from taxi drivers to everything else, and so you're doing a lot of great things. And I think that what was most attracted, what I was most attracted to about the conversation you guys were having was, it just sounded like the conversations that we have in private, you guys were bringing them to, having them in front of an audience. Yeah. And it's things that we need to talk about, but we don't necessarily talk about. Yeah. But before we dive into that, let's just share a little bit about your backstory. Okay. You're here in Ghana. How did you get here? Are you Ghanaian? Mm-hmm. Are you from Nigeria? We don't know. But just give us a little bit of background about your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name's Adrian, as you guys know. So, obviously, I was born and raised in London town, UK, United Kingdom, whatever you call it. Some people think London's a country, actually, but it's not. Born in London, raised in London, born to Ghanaian parents. My parents obviously were born in Ghana, but of course they immigrated to the UK and then obviously raised me up there. But then they relocated to Ghana for quite some time now. I had my earliest exposure to, living and going to Ghana was probably as far as back as the year 2000. Wow. I came to Ghana during Christmas, a trip on a Christmas, and I loved it. And then the year after, we were supposed to live in Ghana. So it ended up just being me, my brothers, and my two brothers, and my father. We lived in Ghana, and then my mum was going to join us later, and she had some unfinished business to take care of in the UK. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned, but I still had that experience of living in Ghana way before the hype, way before things really got crazy, before Ghana was really put on the map and became known as the Dubai of this, and the Ibiza and all these names that Ghana's getting now. So I've seen Ghana, I've seen it all falls. I've seen it well before it really became what it is today. But I really went, I lived in Ghana for 3 years between ages 11 and 14. Massive culture shock when I came and lived and went to school in Ghana. Shout out to my Morning Star folks. And I went back to the UK. But then, fast forward ever since then, I think over the years I've been coming back on a regular basis, flying down to Ghana and just seeing what my parents are doing, seeing what my family are doing. And family members here are doing pretty well for themselves, different industries, and that really kind of like lit a light bulb a moment, like, hey, look, I think I actually need to move back. I've had my cousin who's been trying to get me to move back for years. I've had my father. One thing my father always told me when I was living in Ghana is that, hey, Adrian, like, we need people down here to come back from the UK or the US, wherever they're living from, and actually use our skills, our talent, our resources to actually do something in the country. Back then, when I was having this conversation with my father in the car, it was like, in my head, I'm like, nah, I'm not coming back. This is boring. I'm going back to the UK, like, whatever. But and he was really someone that's kind of like patriotic, someone that really loves his country. He loves Ghana. Even though he's got the means to travel and do whatever he wants, he just loves Ghana. And he loves it through and through. So that really those seeds were sown in me in a very young age. And now it's like, doors have been opened for me to really just try and make that relocation complete. So really, this is kind of like my story. And over the years, I've also had ideas of things that I feel like I can contribute to Ghana. Of course, the podcast is one of them, in terms of like helping people really see the talent and the excellence that we have on the back of Ghana, but also other projects that I'm working on that I feel like I can use to elevate Ghana and really put Ghana in the place that needs to be.
So you're Ghanaian, and now you're in the process of permanently coming back to Ghana, or at least making Ghana more of more consistent long-term home base.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, one of the questions I have is, from living in Ghana for several years, visiting for, going on like 15 years off and on visiting Ghana,
Yeah.
is that what is it about Ghana right now at this moment that really makes you want to come here and deal with some of the wahala, right?
Yeah.
That comes with living here.
Yeah.
Do you, wait, but before you answer that.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Because I'll go somewhere else after that. Yeah.
Sure?
Go ahead.
All right. I think for me, it's, I love challenges, and I feel like, Ghana has its ups and its downs. I keep telling people when it comes to Ghana, like, I think the pros have to outweigh the cons for you. In terms of like the pros about the cons of being here, obviously it's you having to deal with different mentalities and cultures. It's also having to deal with people not turning up and being let down, and the system not really being like a structured, stable system in place. Those are things that kind of can put you off Ghana. I mean, I had a chat with Miss Drew in my podcast. I should have released the episodes very soon, and I had a chat with her, and one of the highlights in terms of like being in Ghana, like one of the down in terms of the lows, was literally booking a ticket and going back to the UK, saying I can't take this anymore, I'm going back to the UK. But then she used she found opportunity in adversity, and she overcame it, and she was able to stay. So not to diverge too much, I think what I see is, I see the potential of what Ghana can be, and I see what I can do here, and I see the value I can add here, and I see things that I can do here which outweigh the bad stuff about being in Ghana. You understand? So for me, I'm seeing the bigger picture. I'm seeing the beauty of the country, the beauty of the greatness of things I can achieve and we can achieve as a country. I'm seeing the projects that can be done. I'm seeing the freedom, all of these things. These are the things that I'm seeing, and these things are out, they're over what, they're overlaying. They're greater than the problems that I feel like you may get with, living in Ghana or coming to Ghana. You understand? So those things in my mind are what's kind of keeping me or encouraging me to make that move. And I think having lived here before, having traveled back and forth, I'm already kind of used to, some of the cons of being in Ghana.
Yeah, one of the things I have conversations with people about a lot, and this especially people who have lived in a, let's say, a more developed context, and even a Western context for the majority of their lives when they come to Ghana, is that Ghana is heavily reliant on people versus where we come from is heavily reliant on systems. Like you can literally live life and not need people.
Yeah.
Like in Ghana, you literally need.
You need people.
On a basic level.
Yeah.
And you talked about earlier, you mentioned that before Ghana was on the map, before Ghana was like the Dubai of Africa, which is a term that I find a little bit insulting.
Yeah.
Only because it's like Ghana is the Ghana of Africa.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Or the gateway to West Africa, whatever you call it. I prefer that term more than just
the Dubai of.
Yeah.
But one of the recent explosions, right, that kind of put Ghana on the map was this whole year of return.
Oh man.
So in 2019, there was an amazing effort put out in terms of getting people back in the diaspora to come back home.
Yeah.
And what the research showed was between like the years of like 2017, 2018, and then when you went to 2019 and now 2020 and 2021, you saw tourism go up by 40-something%, with particular people coming from the UK and the US, people of African descent.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of people coming for holidays. So they came one time, and I don't know if there's research out there. So listen, if y'all know some research, send it to me, put it in the comment section. But I want to know from the folks who came one time, what was their perception of Ghana? And I'm going to tell a story, and I want to get your feedback on it. Yeah. So one of the stories was this. I was around living in Ghana at this time. And because I've been in Ghana for coming back and forth, unfortunately, I don't have certain expectations about certain degrees of service or whatever. So I was at this event that's like marketed as an international, like if you're not at this event, you're not anybody. Like it was that magnitude of an event. And my wife and I went, and we were in like a VIP line.
Okay.
Where people paid like $300, $400.
Dollars or cities?
Dollars. Not CDs, dollars. I'm in the line.
Okay.
I paid nothing.
Okay.
Because I know Ghana.
Yeah.
So we're in line, and the door's supposed to open for this event at like noon.
Yeah.
I get an email at like 2 saying the doors will open at like 3 or something like that.
Okay.
I get an email.
Okay.
An email
Yeah.
after I'm in line.
Wow.
The doors open like at 5 or something.
That's late.
So all these VIP people, I'm in the VIP line that I didn't pay for. We go in. Now this is a internationally marketed event.
Okay, I know what event you're talking about, but go on.
We go into the event. My wife takes. I went with my son. My wife takes my son to the washroom.
Mm-hmm.
The washroom had no water.
Oh my gosh.
It was not clean.
Mm.
I went to the male washroom.
Yeah.
There was a bucket of water with flies and mosquitoes around.
Oh my gosh.
There's no soap. There's no.
Terrible.
And this is why I'm telling this story, because from what I know now of Ghana,
Yeah.
that easily could have been avoided, especially with so many vendors that do even portable washrooms that are nice and all this other kind of stuff. And I heard people chatting in line.
Yeah.
And I automatically knew the Americans because I know our accent. I know we complain a lot.
Yeah, you guys are loud. Sometimes.
And we're loud.
Sometimes, yeah.
And but this is what struck me. I heard people saying, I ain't never coming back to Africa.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
Because for a lot of them,
Yeah.
this was their first
First
experience
experience of
on the
Africa.
continent.
Mm.
And so some of them just had this culmination of experiences of being cheated and all this. And then they paid all this money for this event. And you literally had no water in the washrooms at this internationally marketed event. And that was the part that really kind of pierced my soul. It was like, I'm never coming back to Africa. Some said I'm never coming back to Ghana.
Yeah.
So the question I have is like,
Yeah.
we have this whole hype of the year return. And it was successful in really exposing a lot of people to the continent and to the country.
Yeah, it did.
But my question was, did it do equally an amount of damage because it didn't live up structurally to the hype that was put out there?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
Man, I think, you know what? I think the year return, I mean, there was good about it and then there was bad about it. So what was good about it was, like, of course, the exposure it gave to Ghana. It helped to put Ghana on the map. I mean, you had celebrities. I can't remember who got all of these celebrities together. I don't know if it was Boris Kodjoe that got all these.
Yeah, he was one of them. Yeah,
he was one of like the main kind of ringleaders that got I think 40 celebrities together. I think Anthony Anderson, all these people. I think Idris Elba, Akon, all these. You name it. Ludacris came. You know, even my cousin was staying opposite Ludacris for a few days. But yeah, you got all these celebrities down, and they were pieing and all of these things and all these events, and it helped to put Ghana on the map. Hey, I'm coming to Ghana. I'm in Ghana. Well, you know, whatever. Which is great. So put Ghana on the map. Of course, it increased GDP. Tourism was through the roof. People, everybody wanted to come to Ghana. I remember just before I came to Ghana, Tim, I was in a barber shop and someone overheard me saying I was going to Ghana, and this lady was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous!" Like,
yes,
how dare you all kind of go to? How come? Oh, I'm so jealous. How dare you go to? Well, I'm not. I'm out. Ghana's where I'm from. Ghana's where I'm from. You know what I mean? So it's like it helped put Ghana on the map. More people became aware of it. You know. So those are some of the good things about it. Some of the bad things about the year return was that, of course, I don't think the country and the government was ready for it. In terms of like the systems weren't really in place. For example, if you look at the traffic was absolutely horrendous. I think Copy Music, she's like a popular internationally known Nigerian DJ. I think she put out tweets saying this traffic is horrible. I think she said something like, "I'm gonna go walk. I'm gonna have to walk because the traffic is so bad." Understand? I think also another bad thing about was that I think the government or maybe authorities, organizations could have put things in place to help everybody gain more from the year return. Like a lot of focus was just on the Accra. Yes, there was some tourism, done, but I think they should have allowed the rest of Ghana to take part and enjoy and benefit from.
But how could they have this real? So we having a real conversation today.
Yeah.
Some of those other places, mention some of them for people who may not be familiar with them, and then here's the question I want you to answer: some of those other places, would they even have the type of infrastructure?
Yeah.
The type of just kind of social climate to welcome somebody who's coming from, let's say, 10,000 people.
That's the thing.
Who's coming from these other places who want to see
Yeah.
These are the parts.
No, you're right. That's the thing. But what happens when there's a World Cup or there's an African Cup of Nations or the Olympics? You have how many years to prepare?
Yeah.
Why aren't you preparing? Why aren't you putting these things in place so that when people come, you can absolutely maximize, the entire place? Because Accra hasn't got enough infrastructure to handle the traffic that it got.
Yeah.
The traffic was too much. How many flights were coming in? I think the visas, it was crazy. Like, even the airport couldn't really handle things. It's just it was terrible. You understand? Of course, some of the Ubers in Accra got a very nice payday and things like that. But
especially the taxi drivers.
Man, you know what I mean? They chopped. They chopped. But I think they forgot. I think, and also another thing is that I think some other people were kind of like neglected. Like, if you know all of these people are coming, like, why not like get all of these? Why not like maybe the Ghana Tourism Authority? Why not get all of these like kind of travel and tourism kind of like companies together and say, hey, look, the year return's coming. Why not you guys? Do you guys want to be our partner for this particular this period, so that you can kind of like help out the tourism? I mean, there's so much that could have been done that wasn't done. You understand? I mean, and obviously, of course, the traffic. I mean, were you ready for that kind of traffic? Are you at Coachella, for Nation? Were you ready for, for all of these events to take place? I think there was so many missed opportunities. Definitely so many missed opportunities that we didn't, take.
And that's my thing. And this is not to, if you're watching this, you may be significantly involved in some of these events, but the goal is not to downplay them or anything like that, but to really give an objective perspective for somebody who's from the outside looking in. And I think that it did a wonderful job at exposing people to the continent.
It did.
Absolutely.
It did, yeah.
But it was a lot of conversations that were similar even to the one I had yesterday with someone, which is this person worked with me when I was developing a Pan-African curriculum. And this person loves to travel. And the more and more we talked about Ghana, they were like, I need to go there.
Yeah.
But what the person went through was typical of a lot of foreigners' experience. This is what happened.
Yeah.
From the time they had to get a visa, the process is absolutely a tourist visa.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's very tedious, isn't it?
I mean, and so they said, we may not go because of the visa situation.
Yeah.
I mean, and they sent the passport, because if you don't know, if you ever apply for a visa, at least if you're coming from the States, I don't know what other places, but if you're like a tourist visa, you have to actually have your passport sent to the office in the United States, your physical passport. So anyway, they sent the passport to the wrong place or whatever. I mean, and so it was like what you had to do. So they were already discouraged from that. And they were like, I don't know if we're going to go. And their spirits was like, God, I don't know if this is a sign we shouldn't go. They come here.
Yeah.
Right? They have Wahala at the airport.
Yeah.
And so what it got me thinking about was this.
Yeah.
Do we really value? Because we have a lot of voices right now on the country talking about come home. If you've been away for a while, you're in the diaspora, come home, blah, blah, blah. But my question is it, I feel like sometimes it's just really a transactional economic opportunity. Yeah. Somewhat of an exploitation. I don't know, because it's like the systems are not in place. Yeah. Very basically, if I'm coming to Ghana, I have to get a 72-hour test. I understand that, COVID test. Yeah. Now you have to be vaccinated. I understand that. Yeah. But on top of that, when I come as a foreigner, I have to pay $150 to get a test. If you're an ECOWAS citizen, Ghanaian citizen, passport holder, you pay $50. Yeah. If you're a non-person, you pay $150. Yeah. So you ask yourself, like, the system, we're saying this, but the system is saying something else.
100%.
I mean, and I don't know, man, like, you're a Ghanaian.
Yeah, I'm
so
Ghanaian,
some of that stuff you can avoid because you have a passport.
Absolutely.
But what is your perception of, like, are we really wanting to see this diaspora explosion in terms of relocation and coming back to Ghana? Like, are we really ready for that? Because we're saying it with a lot of voices in the country.
I don't know, because I mean, what you've just said, I mean, I definitely understand. I definitely understand how you feel and others feel. Like, it's a lot of, I feel like the government's putting a lot of friction for people that want to come down here. So I mean, fast forward to, I mean, we talked about the year return, but fast forward to, I mean, the 2021, the Christmas period that's just gone past, right? I know so many people that wanted to come. I have friends in the UK and never come before, Jamaicans, different, you name it, right?
Really?
Different countries. Yeah, some people that wanted to come, even friends. Some people wanted to come. Once they announced the vaccine thing, it was a mandate. You know, they had to postpone their flights or cancel it, and they were upset. Oh man, this is another thing. Oh, I don't think I want to get it. All this kind of stuff. So it's like, I think Ghana did that because they didn't want to go in the red list at that point. Because Nigeria was on the red list. Now Ghana puts out this vaccine mandate out of nowhere. I did not see this coming. I mean, I came in November and I didn't think things would get that serious. Honestly, you understand? And Ghana puts themselves in the. Ghana makes vaccine mandates because they don't want to be in the red list. But then also it adds friction to, you know, tourists and travelers who want to come for the first time, or or the Ghanaians, etc., want to come. It adds friction to that and it puts them off. But then you're thinking, wait a minute, what happened to this whole beyond the return? Don't you want to encourage people to come? You're rather detracting people from coming because you're doing all of these things. So it's like, okay, wait a minute. So if the government has done this, maybe have they got some kind of, I mean, you have to think to yourself, have they been given some kind of handout somewhere? You understand? You know, what's happening? Like, why are they moving like this? Because they want to encourage people to come. Isn't this going to attract people from coming? So these are some of the questions that are running through mind and others' mind as well. You know, I remember being in the car and listening to a few conversations in Joy FM and people debating, like, you know, the whole vaccine mandates. Is it good for the country? Is it bad for the country? And really and truly, I think this is putting people off. You understand? Not everybody wants to get the jab. You understand? Fair enough. You want to kind of put this health precaution in place. You want to not be in the red list to kind of make things even worse. But I think that may be doing more harm than good. But then also, the government, man, it always breaks my heart. You know, like, you know, what is their motivation behind all of this? What's the end game? So I'm going back to your question. You know, about
are we really ready?
Are we really ready? Are we really ready for all of this whole Ghana this, Ghana that? I don't think we are in the long term, no, because what's happening now is that we're getting so many people now coming in, and you know, everyone's coming in, and you know, they're experiencing Ghana. They're buying things up, they're doing things, but then we don't have the systems in place to be able to handle, you know, the capacity of people to handle all of these things that are taking place, all these activities that are happening in the country. I don't know if we're ready, man. I don't think we're ready. I think we need, I think there really needs to be, you know, a lot more systems in place. I think the government needs to kind of fix up a bit. I mean, there's so much work. There's so much work that we need to do to move the country forward. And I don't think we're ready. I mean, the economy. I mean, Ghana as an economy to do business with, to live in, is fantastic. I mean, you know, we're in a GMT time zone, which is great. You know, we speak English. You know, it's a stable economy,
place.
stable political economy. I mean, I was in Nigeria in 2019, and you know, I was on lockdown before lockdown was a thing. Yeah. Because that day I was in Nigeria for a week in 2019, and this is before the year return, right? And that day in Victoria Island in Lagos, there's like a political election going on. So literally, my friend was like, Adrian, like, we're not going anywhere. There's Airbnb the entire day because this lockdown, we could get killed or something. That was insane. Yeah. But obviously in Ghana, there's more stability, more friendly, and things like that. It's great to do business with. You know, the city, since it kind of changed, is a lot more relatable for other companies to do business with. It's multinational, it's internationally friendly, you understand? So, you know, the economy, I think Ghana is set to, is it 2027, 8.7 billion is projected to be like the GDP or something. So I think Ghana, the economy is on track to, you know, to do some good things. But in terms of, you know, it's these systems that let us down from being hitting the potential that Ghana could be. You know, I mean, there's so many things we can cover.
And that's the thing that I really am. When I say generally concerned about, I am, because I really do love Ghana. Yeah. I'm not Ghanaian, but I love Ghana, seriously. Yeah. Ghana was my gateway into the continent, and the first time I came, it literally transformed my paradigm spiritually, culturally, and all of that. Wow. But what I am concerned about is developing a transactional relationship with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Yeah. That's what I'm very concerned about. like in Ghana, if you've lived here, then not all obviously, but what happens is someone will chop all of your money right now.
Yeah.
But don't think about the relationship that if I develop a relationship with you and treat you well, you're going to be a repeat customer. You're going to tell your friends. And so just by doing good business,
there you go, yeah.
Then long term, this is going to work out really well. Yeah. He's going to benefit. I'm going to benefit as well.
Yeah.
But what happens a lot of times is this guy, then you hear the accent. Then let me get as much as I can right now because I never know when I'll see you again. And I feel like system-wise, structure-wise, when you look at everything starting from how you even apply for a visa to $150 whatever that you pay to, just the structural things in place, I feel like the relationship with some of the foreigners, particularly people from the diaspora, and I'm focused on the diaspora because there's such a movement now that's focused on the diaspora.
100%.
It feels very transactional.
Yeah.
So that you come and spend all this money on holiday, it's $150 may not be a big deal.
Yeah.
Listen, my family, we are 3 and potentially expanding. So now let's say you're coming with your family, your cousins and everything. Now you're a family of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
150, 150, 150,
That's
150.
a lot of money.
On COVID tests. After you've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
After you've taken your 72-hour test before you got here.
It's crazy.
That's literally just to chop money from people.
100%.
So it makes you feel a certain way. It's like you're saying this, but you're doing this. And one of the things I think that could happen is I think we have some great associations and organizations. And I know a lot of people doing some great work in this area. Mm-hmm. But I really think we need like some, I don't know, man, like some alliances, like a big alliance to not just have parties.
Yeah, I thank you very much.
Not just to have parties.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But to say, listen, we as the collective XYZ association have said that this is wrong and we have this much influence and you have to change these things. because the reality is that's how stuff moves. Yeah. When people came during the year of return, man, it was so many stories about people being cheated and scammed out of, this whole free land and stuff like that. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but maybe the structures weren't in place to handle the type of requests that were coming in. Yeah. And to safeguard people from being scammed. Yeah. And so, I mean, we got some issues in Ghana. It's a great place. Yeah. But my question is dude, seriously, how can we move in a direction to where people, you don't have to be like this, get a message like Moses' message, burning bush from God to stay here. Yeah. And that's what a lot of comments is like, I feel like I'm called to be here. I have to come back. I have to make the country better. Yeah. People like yourself I admire, but you guys are an anomaly. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's not going to have the mentality. I mean, how can we make this country, man, a place where really it basically lives up to the hype that it's putting out?
Yeah. Well, that's a big question, man. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think us as the diaspora people, people from the internationals that want to come live here, and native Ghanaians, all the different categories of people, we all need to look at ourselves first of all. I think us individually as a group, we're all part of the problem. That's the first thing, right? The diaspora will come in and they think, and then they will have a certain level of privilege, or they have a certain level of they think that they, because of the diaspora, they think they can call the shots and do what they want, and some of them have this mentality of I'm your boss, you're my slave, I can do what you want, and I can do what I want, do this, do that, and it kind of makes the native Ghanaians feel like they're nothing or they're worthless. You understand? So I think first of all, in terms of the diaspora that have not everyone has that, but the diaspora that have that has that entitlement personality, that needs to get removed, because we're not going to get anywhere. You understand? You do what the Romans do, kind of thing. Because that kind of entitlement, that will humble you quick in Ghana. I had an experience in the airport, 2018, 2017, when I was going back to London, where I was, because my so-and-so father knows so-and-so this, my uncle knows so-and-so, I can talk to you like this, or I can get this thing sorted out. When I spoke to the authorities in that way, literally, it almost made me miss my flight. Yeah, understand? Yeah. So first of all, I think the diaspora needs to come in and they need to understand how native Ghanaians work. everything from greetings. Like when I lived in school in Ghana, everyone, I got taught that we have to greet everyone.
Serious.
You understand? You have to respect our elders.
Yeah.
Get the basics. So I think that's when you need to come in, understand how Ghanaians work and how they think, how they operate. You understand? Sharing food, all these little things, and then from there we can understand how we can relate to them, and then how we can then integrate ourselves into the culture. We need to become the fabric of the society, and once we do that, once we can kind of come down in their level, then we're all of a sudden a bit more relatable. All of a sudden we can start to maybe get the best out of them. We can get a bit more respect out of them. Because I've worked with some people, for example, like my mum's got some stuff, right? I've worked with some, I've worked alongside some people who work here, and and the feedback I've had from another person is that, Adrian is not the typical person that comes and thinks that they're the boss or this prideful diaspora, and he's actually a nice guy, you understand? And that's because I'm not bossing them around, I'm not treating them like they're nothing, I'm treating them like my equal. So we need to start treating, the native Ghanaians as equals. And also, then on the other hand, the native Ghanaians also need to start. Not all of them, but I think the native Ghanaians who all of a sudden they hear our accent and they want to start, and then they start seeing us as a cash machine, or they start seeing us as a piece of meat that they want to charge us this high skyrocket price for things. They need to then also learn that that's wrong. You know what I mean? You don't just make your money, but that's wrong. I mean, just because.
But where does that come from? Not to interrupt you, but
that's fine.
That comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
So that mentality that I see you as a cash machine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an individual problem, but it comes from somewhere.
Yeah, it does come from somewhere, and I don't know if it's something that, I think it comes from. I mean, it could stem from, a background of poverty, because let's face it, there's a lot of poverty in Ghana.
Yeah.
If we were in their shoes and someone who looks like they're rich comes and
I'll chop your money too.
There you go. You're gonna want to take advantage of that, right? Because you can charge someone. Let's say this is 2 cities, and you're gonna charge that same person for that same thing 100 cities, and then to them, if they're not aware of what the standards are in the country, they're gonna get scammed, right? And of course they think they can get away with it, so why not, right? So I guess we need to. That's why I said it's important for us to kind of bring ourselves down to their level, understand and relate to native Ghanaians, and then we can also start to kind of work out, improve the country out from that way. Because I think with them is that this is what they know, right? Poverty can lead people to do crazy things, but if we don't understand them, and if they don't understand how we think and our backgrounds and how things are, because sometimes they may think, oh, you're from abroad, you got loads of money, but that's not always necessarily the case. Understand? So I think we need to understand each other as native Ghanaians, diaspora, internationals, expats, whatever, all these different groups of people. And then once we have an understanding of each other, we can then start to kind of like work out other problems within the country and be a bit more united. I think the point I'm trying to get to, Tim, is I think we need to be a bit more united. And if we're not united, then we can't really come together and do some great things in this country. Like how you're talking about coming together, setting up the organizations and things like that. And I guess if we create these organizations, enough of them, and maybe went to government, maybe things could change. But I think in terms of Ghana, I don't think really is a country where, I mean, you see protests, but I don't think it's like the West that you protest, or you start this petition and then things change.
No.
I think it's.
Charlie, it has to be by force.
Yeah.
And it has to be with money.
It has to be by force. There you go.
It has to be by force. I mean, that's really how the world works.
Look at Rawlings did years back, right? I think he took over the government by force, and only that way was he able to bring some change. Yeah. You understand? So I think in Africa and Ghana, things work differently here. So it will definitely take some force, because the guys in government, they're enjoying, everything that they're getting, whether it's the handouts, whether it's, exploiting the country, in return for, certain privileges, you understand? Because, let's face it, there's a lot of people in Ghana that's not getting what they should be getting.
25%, last time I read a statistic, at least 24 to 25% of people right now in the country still don't have access to electricity.
That's absolutely
30 million
crazy.
people in the country. 25% of those still don't have access to electricity.
That's
in 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're 2022 now.
22. Wow. That's absolutely insane.
And for me, I'm not really speaking about like this massive revolution that's only going to service the diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is the messaging is communicating this. So allow the actions to line up with the messaging. So even if it's not like, let's bend over backwards for somebody that's foreign. No. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But you invited me to your house.
Yeah.
You said, come to my house.
But your house is not ready.
It's not ready. And then when you come to my house, I charge you for staying here. When you told me I could sleep here for free.
Yeah.
You told me that I can actually have a room upstairs where I can set up my office and everything. But when I come, you said, no, actually, this one, because you're a foreigner, I'll charge you $8,000 for this room.
Yeah.
But you invited me here. So it feels like, not even feeling. The facts is, even when I look at some of the organizations, that are like majorly focused on the diaspora. Mm-hmm. What I'm talking about is very specific in terms of like, listen, if these organizations that I read about and see all the time talking about invest in Ghana, develop a direct pipeline to do basic things. Like if you're calling out for the diaspora to come and invest in Ghana, that's a non-Ghanaian because you're calling people from the diaspora.
Yeah.
Give them a direct pipeline to register a business that doesn't cost astronomical prices.
Yeah.
Like, give them a direct pipeline to do what you said you want them to do. Yeah. So that's my frustration. It's not like we came in and said, we're going to colonize this. No, like, and when you're on the outside, you know it. Like, the messaging and the marketing for Ghana is like, you have to go to Ghana.
And then when you get here, your expectations are not met. You understand? Or you're shocked because of what you experienced in the country. And you're right. I think it's quite difficult, I guess, maybe even for diaspora or visitors that want to come here, right from the beginning, from the get-go, just the service design, like you were talking about,
the
visa, it's just it's bad. I mean, first impressions count. And if that's a lot of friction for them, they're thinking, oh man, then what is it like to live in this country? Why should I bother coming? So that definitely needs to get fixed. And I think there needs to be a simple system, like you said, there needs to be like a simple system for people that want to work, live, play, whatever it is, invest here, for them to just go through. I mean, it shouldn't be difficult. They shouldn't have to kind of like ask so many people and do so much tedious research. I mean, they just should be like a pipeline, like you said. And also there should be, there should be like a blueprint that people can follow to come here and live or work or play, whatever it is. You understand? It shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't be that way. Yeah.
Now, here's a question I was going to ask you that we'll kind of wrap up with, and then we'll kind of wrap up with like, okay, so we talked about some things that's not so positive, but I like to end on a positive note of how we can, keep it accurate, but at the same time be positive. Mm-hmm. So let me give context for the question real quick. I heard a lot of people, particularly African Americans, and even people coming from, like, let's say the UK, who don't necessarily have family lineage in Ghana. And one of the most amazing aspects is not feeling like a black person. Like racism is not like that in Ghana at all. But then here's a question I asked them. I said, if you was not born like in a racist kind of country or context, would Ghana still be worth it for you?
So if I was not born in a racist country,
like that, because a lot of people that I heard saying like when you feel racism, it's like it's horrible.
It's horrible, yeah.
And it's a system.
Yeah.
And so they come to Ghana, and like the key thing that keeps them here is like I don't have to deal with racism. Like I'm not black in Ghana.
Everybody is black, yeah.
But then my question for some of them was, and I mean you have Ghanaian lineage, history, family, everything is here. Mm-hmm. I mean, but I'll still pose the question to you, like, would Ghana still be worth it for that person if they were not black?
True.
If that's the thing that's keeping them here. Because when you look at all the issues we talk about.
Yeah. And
in my opinion, Ghana's expensive. But that's another conversation.
I've got a whole podcast on that. Well, Accra's expensive, brother.
Yeah, it's true. I'm sorry. Accra.
No, I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, you could say Ghana's expensive in some parts.
So would it be worth it?
I mean, well, for the non-Ghanaian, I mean, the Caucasian or the non-black person.
No, the black person.
For the black person to still come here.
Let's imagine they weren't black. I know it's hard.
Okay.
But because that's the thing a lot of time that keeps them here, that they don't feel black in Ghana. Like I'm asking, is that worth it? With all the stuff that you go through, is it worth it? you know, to stay here just for that reason? I mean, I don't know. Maybe maybe the question is too loaded. I don't know.
Just to stay. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So because they come here and they don't feel all of this kind of like they don't feel any racism here.
Yeah.
But they still have to go through another set of stress, another set.
Yeah,
of
all the stuff
here.
we're talking about, the systems,
Got
the
you,
this,
got
the this.
you.
They can't do this. They can't do that.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
I mean, beauty is an eye of the beholder. I mean, it's down to them. I guess it's down to what they want to get out of Ghana, right? So, I mean, you know, what do they want to do? Do they want to do they want to live a lifestyle that's, I don't know, a certain way? So it just depends what they want to get out of Ghana. I mean, for example, I want to come here and, I want to develop, I want to invest, I want to create things here, I want to help, solve things here. I'm not no savior or anything. I'm just trying to make my small contribution be. So for me, I mean, me personally, I think I mean even in the UK there's racism, of course. I've never really experienced racism personally myself. I know in university I was walking down the street and someone threw an egg at my eyeballs just as they were driving past, and that's probably the most racism I've experienced. But that was being in university outside of London where there wasn't that many black people, and that I could understand a little bit. And in my eyes, personally, racism, I mean, people might disagree with me, that's okay. Racism, I think, is something that's never really going to go away. It's sad to say. It's never really going to go away. So I've just accepted it, and I'm not really giving it a lot of time and attention, because as far as I'm concerned, it is a waste of time, and there's other things that I can focus on, which I can try and change and impact, you understand? But at the same time, I mean, for me, coming and being in Ghana rather than the UK, I think for me, it's not necessarily like, racism doesn't really exist here, so I'm more free. I think it's just the freedom of being here and what the culture and the country, I mean, even the system allows you to do, right?
It's true.
You understand? Like in the UK and the US, there's so much because the system is so tough out there. There's all of these, bills to pay. There's all of these little costs. There's all of these little things that you have to do. All these laws and policies, and it gets overwhelming. It gets very tedious and burdensome. But here, it's like you can build your house and you can just set up, connect electricity and your water, whatever it is, and then you're good to go. I mean, the cost of living isn't as crazy as it is in the UK or the US, and even that for that person can be enough. You understand? It can be enough. They may not necessarily want to live the luxury lifestyle.
I get you.
Like that.
I get you.
So yeah, I mean, really answering your question, racism, it really depends on how much the person values racism. Racism, I think, will depend on how much power that person is given to racism. If racism isn't really something that you give a lot of power to, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Ghana, it doesn't really make a difference, right? I mean, the only difference is the lifestyle and, the way of living is going to be different than to the UK. But if someone really puts a lot of value in racism, then, yeah, I guess that's going to encourage them to want to be here more. But then, is that still enough for them to then take on the problems of living in Ghana? That depends on that person and their mentality and what they want to do in Ghana. Is it really going to be sustainable? If you just want to be here and, live a certain lifestyle and think that you can live this real regal life here, then you're going to get some shocks. And, and if you don't have a certain mindset, a tough mindset or hard skin, or you don't understand how Ghana works, then you might get put off by that and go back to where you came from. But if you're tough and you're willing to kind of go through the problems and stuff, then, then I guess you'll be alright. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one, man.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky one, and I think what you're saying makes sense. And what I took from this conversation was a couple things, and I was reminded of this when I went back to the States, because I was actually nervous, because I hadn't visited the States in several years.
Yeah,
and this is right when we had Donald Trump in office.
Okay, the
Black Lives Matter movement was really surging. I mean, the police brutality that the world saw, I've been seeing literally my whole life, honestly. Yeah. And so, long story short, basically, I was nervous. But when I went back, Charlie, I enjoyed life.
Hey, US of A, huh? US of A.
Listen, I enjoyed life.
It's a different system. And let me ask you a question. When you're out there, and do you feel like does it take you a while to adjust yourself back to the West system, or does it automatically
Charlie,
just
not at
click?
all. But this is my point. I grew up there.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to like racism and stuff, now it's very real.
Yeah.
Like
very
and
real.
systemic.
Yeah, it's very
But
real.
I know the system enough to know, okay, this part of town,
Yeah.
I'm not going. I know how to not go to that part of town.
Yeah.
I know that when I enter into this context at night and I'm wearing this, like I know all these things already, so I jump back into it.
Back into it, yeah.
And I think it's kind of like Ghana. Like if you were raised in Ghana, you know the Wahala.
Yeah.
I think you also still like, for example, like if you're coming back to Ghana, you have memories of auntie, uncle. You have memories of maybe people pounding fufu or your friends or your mate. Like you have all these good memories that come back. Versus like in somebody like myself, I love Ghana, but I'm not coming back to a lot of good memories. I'm creating them right now.
Okay.
So I don't have enough of the amazingness to outweigh the craziness. But the States, for me, I mean, I had to realize that yes, that's my first home.
Yeah.
So I go back to memories of music and parties and my family.
So it's
and
the
all.
other way around. In the States, you got a lot more amazingness that you can associate with. You have a lot more amazing memories that outweigh the not so great ones.
Even with the craziness of the system. So the wrap up I think is this, man, and I learned this. So I keep shouting out, one of my former guests. Her name is Taliba, and she said something amazing that I think applies to not just African Americans, but she talked about living in the hyphen. Like, it's okay to have dual identities.
Yeah.
There's no one monolithic identity. Like if you're a diaspora and if you're a Ghanaian that's coming back, embrace the fact that you have these lived experiences. You've seen things that are different. You've seen things that are whatever. Yeah. And you can live in both worlds. And I think that provides the type of mentality and perspective that I think that we can come together with that really can say, oh, we're tired of this and infrastructure and this and this and this. Yeah. But I know there are some people out there watching that do, I don't know if that's called urban planning or I don't know, whatever that with people who plan cities and stuff, right? There are opportunities for people to come and do that because there is so much development needed, not just in Ghana, but on the continent. That people can literally come and create their own roadmap. Yeah. If you can make it through the Wahala, you can literally come and make your own roadmap.
And this is what I was trying to say to you, Tim, is that, if you have a vision, if you know that's the end goal, if you see that's your kind of gold mine at the end of the road, you're going to be motivated to kind of go through all of the pain, all of the hustle, the Wahala, to get to that. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that image before, right? There's this guy digging, and then there's a diamond at the end, right? Yeah. He has to go through all of this muds, whatever, to get there. So I think that's the way we should see it. Like, if you have a strong mindset enough, you would see that, look, there's gold, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but we have to go through the darkness. We have to go through this the not so great stuff to get to it. And I think the key also is having an open mind. I think that's a really needed tool to be able to navigate countries like Ghana and Africa, like to have an open mind about everything. If you just get culture shock, if you just get frustrated and turned off by everything, you're going to easily quit and walk away from whatever it is that you want to achieve in our country. Having an open mind and be willing to kind of like have tough skin and go through ups and downs.
Well, man, I think it's a great place to end right there, man. Yeah. And I thank you so much for taking the time to have a conversation with me today. No problem. There's much more that needs to be said, and I think these conversations really can create the kind of transformation that we want to see. So thanks for being here today. I sincerely appreciate it. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. As always, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.
Peace. Thank you.